work in your business, isn't it?
Would anybody like to actually help clarify this? Okay, again,
Silence.
silence, absolute silence. Okay, what items does your feasibility study contain?
A brief overview of a business idea.
That's good. And next?
The initial thoughts of your initial business idea.
Yes.
Whether or not the idea is agile, and if it can bend to economic stuff that's going on at the moment, for example, and what others think of your business idea. That's just what you told me yesterday. I had that written down.
Well done. Okay, so the whole idea, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail, but I think what you guys have presented at this point is very good. So, and I have sent you, the ones I have received, I've sent feedback on. So you should have that. Some of you have already said, yes, you've received that. And okay, thanks, Alison. Thanks for joining us. And yes, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask at any time. Looks like Anna's joined us. Hello, Anna. You're on mute at the moment.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Tell us about yourself, Anna.
My name is Anna. I'm immigrant from Russia. I've been living in Australia for 2 years, and moving here is already a big adventure for me. And the role that I had taken in Russia is not really applicable here unless I live in a bigger city like Sydney or bigger port, because I was involved in customs clearance, which is not really applicable in Batman's Bay. Yeah, so the whole new world is open for me at the moment. So I'm exploring what I can offer and how it will matches my own values and what I can offer to other people and enjoy offering these services or products myself.
Okay, do you have an idea?
I have numerous little ideas, but I do not have clear idea what exactly I know, and I definitely have too many doubts about myself, about my abilities, and if I'm capable of doing anything at all. One of the idea is, as being as an outdoor person, I'm really, well, that will contradict with Brad and you, Trish, probably ideas, because you're into computerizing the world. I'm sort of the opposite. I have the opposite idea. I want to take people out of their screens and put them into nature. That's my idea. That's what I'm passionate about. I believe that many people spend too much time looking at their screens, and they forget that face-to-face, as being a kinesthetic person who needs actual physical touch, really believes that enjoying the nature, what we can explore and how adventurous and fun it can be, we really tend to forget about this. And now I see that many children are looking and playing their gadgets on, well, I do not want to offend any other ideas. I'm just, sorry guys.
It's good.
No, that's
You're
great.
passionate. Yeah.
And I believe when I was a child, we spent all the time outside. I remember mom had trouble calling us back inside. Now people just stay inside. Children. And I think they follow how we adults behave ourselves. And I think if we can engage ourselves, at least not the whole day maybe, but part of our time or weekends or evening, even just spend the whole day looking at the screen and then go for a walk or do something active. And many research show that mental health is also depend on physical activity, like working with our body, we can influence our mind.
Anna, do you think that the current climate with the coronavirus and the recent fires has had a lot to do with the change in people to go back to nature and those sorts of things?
Well, what I notice is that people are more doing renovations and remodeling their houses and checking out their junk.
Oh, well, there's a business opportunity. House refurbishment.
Well, at some stage, I was really keen on, I watched, I don't know if you guys have heard this idea, Marie Kondo. This is a Japanese organizer. I was thinking, oh, yeah, I have like piled all my clothes, but I even watched, there is even a movie, Wardrobe Queens or something like that, where actually two ladies were organizing people's houses wardrobes, and I thought, wow, that's cool. I would like to be a wardrobe queen, but
you can be. That's the thing. You can be whatever you want. Anna, welcome to you, and just Brad, just say hi. Everyone say hi to Brad.
Hi, Brad.
Excellent. Everyone say hi to Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, guys.
Excellent. Everyone say hi, Bethany.
Hi, Bethany.
Everyone say hi to Grace.
Hi, Grace.
Everyone say hi to Stu.
Hi, Sophie.
And everyone say hi to Sophie.
Hi, Sophie.
Hey, Sophie.
Everyone say hi and welcome to Alison.
Hi, and welcome, Alison.
And everyone say hi and welcome to Anna.
Hi, and welcome, Anna.
Okay, now the reason we do this every week is so that we work on the group dynamic, and there is a very big reason, because it's our ideas that can become so many amazing things. And this, I want you to feel comfortable with the people in this group. What did I say the reason was last week why we should be feeling comfortable with the people in this group?
Because these are the people that will probably be able to bounce some of the best ideas off and build a community and get some connections.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are people in our Facebook group who have been through this process. They will help you to answer questions. So if you haven't connected to the Facebook group yet, please do so, because otherwise you're missing out on opportunities. So if you don't have that, we have sent the link to you in an email. Brad's already popped the the group link here for you as well. So it's very important to become part of a community for two reasons. One is to be able to just check in, and the other is to be able to bounce ideas off people with like-minded thoughts. So, and otherwise, because business can be a very lonely thing. So for anybody who has been in business before, particularly in this climate, it can be a very, very lonely experience. So, and just to give you an example on that, when I first branded to the Tec Exec business, it was really lonely, because being an innovator with all of these ideas and what was going to happen, which I knew, I was a bit like Anna, I was passionate that people were going to miss out. So trying to get across to people what I was trying to do, and for the reason, it was really difficult. So having a like-minded group keeps you accountable as well. So keeping you on track, keeping you up to date, and having people to talk to who have the same ideas and mindset as you, it's very important. And as Grace said, Grace, I hope it's okay that I say sometimes it can be difficult with family. You know, talking with family about your ideas and friends, because they may not understand or have that same mindset as you. So yeah, that can be quite difficult. Okay, I'm going to change over now, and I want you all to have a look at your toolbar down the bottom. So when you move around, depending on where the toolbar is, you'll have your mute button. So everyone mute yourself for me. Excellent. Okay, everyone stop your video. Excellent. Okay, bring yourself back. Remember, if your video stops, if your internet access gets a bit wobbly, just turn your video off, because it will give your sound priority over that. So if your connection becomes unstable, keep that in mind. Across the bottom, you will also have the chat option. If you have the chat, bring the chat up now, and everybody in the chat, make sure that it is connected with everyone in the meeting. And in the chat, so the chat option looks like a chat bubble. Click in that and type me a little message saying that it is okay to record this so that others who missed today's session, or you can re-watch this. We don't share it with anyone. So just say you give permission for us to be able to record. Excellent. Any questions you've got, throw them in the chat, and Brad and I will try and answer those as much as possible. Something that we might need, not necessarily today, is a share screen option. Can you all see the share screen option at the bottom? Give me a thumbs up if you can.
Yeah. Is that share content?
No, it's a share screen. So we're going to be doing some digital mentoring with you guys. So if I've got an appointment with you, Bethany, and I say share your screen, you might have a technical issue. So if you share your screen with me, I can help you and guide you through it. So can Brad, being the tech guru.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's important for you to find that for me. And then you might also have a but wait, there's more button. That's 3 dots, or it may say more. Under there, yep, under there you'll see that there's other options. So getting to know this toolbar at this point in time is very, very important. Any questions about that so far?
All good.
Anyone lost? Thumbs up to continue. Yoo-hoo! So share my screen with you now, and we'll go through the itinerary for today. And tell me what you can see.
Spinning circle. Oh yeah. CERT 4 business, new small business plan. Session 2.
Is it big now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. So session 2, undertake small business. So obviously you can see that the feasibility study is extremely important. The reason is that we do have a feasibility study is because we may have an idea, and this is the crux of it. We may have an idea, and unless in our head we might be passionate about it, we might think it's a great idea, but when you actually put it out there to the market, they go, well, why? How is it going to benefit me? Even though to you it's a great idea, it may not be cost effective. So there are many, many reasons to conduct a feasibility study, but the overall reason is for viability of the business idea. So where you may have chatted with one person about it, you may want to chat with a half a dozen people about it, just to see whether or not the idea is viable. So today what we're covering up on is a little bit of revision on Zoom rooms, which I've done, going through the share screen, which is important. Our feasibility study update is extremely important that we keep that in front of mind. We'll be going through our Let's Get Started. So we have a couple of activities there for us to do today. Pre-planning and planning topics and schedule of how we're going to be doing and creating your business plan and your marketing plan. And also, we're going to be going through and looking at your schedule as the topics over the process for marketing. We are looking at activity 1, then we'll be having a comfort break. So based on all of our other online training programs, everybody wants a break about every hour, just to get up, move around, warm up, have a cuppa, get a drink. And so we'll be working to that schedule. Then we're looking at getting started in your plan, and we have a demo model there. We're looking at the live business planning document online and the actual different styles of the document that we can have. And then we're looking at our health support and linking to what we'll be doing. So our mentoring sessions and our marketing plan, which is our second subject. Okay. Getting started on your business. What do you need to do? So what I'd like to do is look at the business from a brainstorming point of view. The business plan document will either be sent to you in a PDF or a doc format, or it can be something that can be live and working online. Can anybody tell me if they do not know whether or not you can open a file on your computer? Hands up those who has Microsoft Word. Okay. Hands up those again who has Microsoft Word. Okay. Hands up those who don't have Microsoft Word. Okay, that's going to be a problem. If you don't have the Microsoft products, if I send a document to you in a document format, you won't be able to open it. So I'll have to send it to you in either a PDF format or a live online one. Now, yeah, because otherwise you won't be able to complete the document. Now, Ashley, you're a good example. What happened with your computer and how did you get around that challenge?
I don't know what happened to the computer. I really don't. But I finished work yesterday and went onto my regular computer, and all my systems, all my documents became corrupt and I couldn't open anything. I tried uninstalling and reinstalling Microsoft Suite, and that didn't work. It just kept coming up throwing errors. So I thought I'd lost everything on my computer. And whilst my partner, who works in IT, spent about 5 hours trying to fix it, I ended up having to do my feasibility study just on Google Docs on my phone in the meantime, so I could get it done.
Okay, so there's always a solution. Now, for those of you, does anyone here not have Word or Google?
I've got Google.
I've got Google Docs. I do have the Microsoft program on my laptop, but I don't have the key to have it as a user.
Yep, okay. The solution there is Google. If you don't have a Gmail account, create one because you get the Google Suite completely free, which has got a built-in word processor. You can download that suite to any device, which means Google Docs is like Microsoft Word. It's free, but all you need is a Gmail account. And as a potential business owner, I thoroughly 100% recommend that everyone at this point have a Gmail address. So if you don't worry about creating it yet, but there are so many things that you can have for free because of Google. Later on today, I'll tell you about these other things that you can have for free that will benefit your business 150, 200, 400, 500%, because they are little gems that will really assist you when you want to be able to put your documents together and your actual business together. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to make sure and cement that you all do have access to those documents, because a PDF, unless you've got Adobe PDF Reader, you won't be able to edit your documents. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so like the documents we sent you out to sign up for, some of you had to print them out. We don't do that anymore. We work in these documents live. Okay, any questions? So then we're going to be looking at your actual tasks and assessment. So the actual assessment task for the unit. So what I have here is our little unit criteria. So for undertaking small business planning, there are 3 units or items that we need to make sure we cover off on. They are identify elements of the business plan, develop a business plan, and develop strategies for minimising risks. Does anyone have any questions at the moment about those 3 items? So that's for our first unit, and you should have a copy of those in the documents that we sent out, and those documents that we sent out will actually be the full guide. So your full guide will look like this. If you don't have those, let us know in the chat and we can send them out. But that's the first 3 units, the first 3 elements of that unit.
Can you say that one more time?
The actual units?
Yeah, sorry.
So the 2 units are undertake small business planning.
Yep.
And the second unit is market the small business. So those elements that I read out, identify the elements of a business plan, develop a business plan, and develop strategies for minimising risks form your assessment.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. By the time that you undertake the full business plan that you can actually see here, all right, this bit here, the full business plan, that will cover off on those items. So you'll be doing in that minimising risks and strategies for minimising risks, which we'll be learning about again along the way. But the actual business plan becomes your assessment, and then that will be your full feasibility study completed.
Okay.
But by the time you finish the business plan, you should have a genuine idea on one, whether or not it's viable, two, what you need to do to make it happen, and three, what contingencies that you have in place for things like coronavirus and those sorts of things. So, you know, that full business plan should be able to outline your complete step-by-step way forward. Okay, from here we're going to go into our first activity, and I'm very, very excited about this. So what we're going to do is have a look at where we live. We're going to have a look at our current situation, and we're going to have a think and brainstorm some ideas on what is missing from our region at the moment. So if we were isolated for a month, which we have been, what is it that we've found in any way, shape or form that's missing from our area for you or for us or for others in the area? Has anybody got any ideas that you'd like to call out?
Delivery for food.
Like Uber Eats or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that's one thing I've noticed has taken off. Places that never delivered seem to be delivering now for people isolated.
Okay. Food delivery? I agree. Okay, what else?
I was thinking grocery delivery for, you know, some of the elderly who can't get out and do their own shopping. But I know that that's something that's become more frequent now as well.
Yes. Okay, so shopping? So assistance with shopping?
Yeah.
What are you saying, Ash?
Yeah.
Even having that seniors hour in the beginning of the day, that's a new thing.
Yeah.
Seniors hour.
Do you think they'll keep those?
I think
hope that they do.
I think they've stopped it now. It's just open from 7 till 8 at Woolies. There's no actual seniors time anymore. And that stopped about 3 weeks ago.
That saddens me. I thought it was a great idea. But
well, while there was limited stock, there was no problem. There was no problem to have them come in early so they could, you know, get what was needed. But now that there's enough stock on the shelves, there's no requirement for them to have that time. So they say, just like the security guards, there's no reason for the security guards to be there anymore because there's no
pipes breaking out of the toilet paper.
Well, there's no mindset of there's not enough, so I'm going to have to, you know, do or die type aspect.
Yeah. Okay, no, they're very good points. Okay, anything else?
Everything like pre and after coronavirus, but everything like recreational activities. There's not a lot to really do as far as like for little kids especially. Like they get bored. They don't have places to go and do stuff. There's probably mini golf, and that's about it. And then food.
I find that a lot of the activities are far and few between. So from Bermagui to Bateman's Bay to go do the mini golf is an hour and a half drive. If you lived in Bega and you want to go to mini golf, it's a 2-hour drive.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? There's just so far and few between the activities.
Do you want to put mini golf?
Or just for example, mini golf. Like there's only one on the south coast, which is located at Bateman's Bay.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do something like mini golf with the kids, you would have to drive, if you were living in Bega or Merimbula, you would have to drive 2.5 hours to get there to enjoy a possibility of potentially an hour and a half of play. So you're doubling the time of travel versus the time of experience. And then you've got the cost of fuel, and then they're going to want food. So you've got to, and then there's going to have to be like the McDonald's or the KFC run or whatever it is, because that's the expectation of children, that they want to have some sort of junk food whilst out.
Okay, so do you think there's a lack of junk food?
No, lack of activities.
Lack of activity?
There's more than enough junk food around the world.
Okay, no.
Plenty of that. Yeah.
If anything, there would be lack of health food stores, like health stores, like food, takeaway food that is healthy.
Okay, yep.
I'm glad there's no
McDonald's. You can buy McDonald's every hour. So Merimbula, you got McDonald's. Then you drive to Batemans Bay, you got McDonald's. You drive to Nowra, you've got McDonald's and Hungry Jack's. Like there is something at every stop. You don't need the junk food quick takeaway. You need the healthy sandwich option. You need the salad option. You need the fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other ideas jump out at anyone?
I was thinking. Sorry.
Had I foreseen the coronavirus, I would have loved to have had an online home-based education program set up for all the children that had to be homeschooled during that period.
Okay. Like an online, so internet business.
Yeah, an internet-based business that could help parents with homeschooling.
Is that based on the parents or on the kids? Like, would you be helping the parents learn the skills to teach at home?
I've only just thought of it now. I don't know. It's just something that the kids could press play on, and schooling takes place in front of them without their parents being so reliant. Or
kind of like reading eggs.
The thing is,
it's not reading eggs. That sort of like does that.
Oh, do they? Does it already exist, does it?
Yeah,
it's helpful.
They have Google Classroom where they can go online, they can activate, they can read the documents required, they can do the homework. The problem is that one aspect that I'm having trouble with is that I have children that learn in a different way. So my son can do this reading, transcribing, comprehension into activity very well, very, very well, submit homework, right? He could probably be homeschooled in that aspect. Whereas my daughter is struggling and is overwhelmed with the amount of content and the amount of reading that is provided in the program, and therefore cannot comprehend or put into words what she needs to display on the documents and activities required. He likes to have someone in the virtual classroom, and they're not doing it, which I'm really annoyed at, but they're just dumping and running, the teachers, I'm finding.
So do you think this is why school's going back next week?
Probably, because there's been too many complaints. Absolutely. Yep.
Now, if anybody, here's another example. If anybody watched A Current Affair last night.
I don't watch TV.
No, I don't watch Current Affair.
Okay, I don't either, but I watched it last night out of interest for this reason. There was a young boy, 5, who his mum and dad gave him his iPad so that he could play an Apple game. And he was using it for homeschooling, but they had the Apple game linked to their credit card.
Oh, no.
So he was playing this Apple game that was free, and it was like shopping, buy this and make these little, it was like a real experience. $8,500 later. So it certainly was worthwhile having a look at, because from my point of view as a trainer, and Brad will agree, we actually are running another training, or Brad's running it today, on digital literacy skills on how to get online, like all of the safety around that and what to do, because the parents don't know either. And you wouldn't expect that a game would pick up on your credit card details. and whatever he was clicking on, buy this, buy that, it was buying it.
And they don't know. They can't comprehend where money comes from sometimes.
That's just the parents' lack of education around the digital marketing. So as soon as you hop on an iPad, you've got to link your credit card to your user ID, which therefore any background. This is just what most people think. Yeah. Because I saw Brad shaking his head, but most people think that that's what you have to do. So therefore, it's again that set and forget. So they've done it in the initial stages, and then they've completely forgotten that their credit card is linked to that account. And then boom, $6,500 later, you're screaming at your kid because they've spent all your money. Yet it was a design fault at the very beginning.
Absolutely. And that's something and reason Brad is shaking his head is because we actually teach people how to skip that step.
Yeah, there's a little skip button.
So there is a skip option to do that. But, Alison, you are completely 100% correct. We don't know what we don't know until somebody tells us, or shows us.
Yeah. And this is where people come up against resistance because they don't want to know. Because that means if they know, then they have to action things. And then they don't want to action things, which is where I come into my business. But anyway.
Absolutely, and we can't hop around any longer with our heads in the sand. We have to take responsibility for the devices we have.
Just everything, responsibility for everything, which is what people are trying to remove from their lives.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
It's called overwhelm.
It's called overwhelm, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So now with regards to that is there anything else that comes to mind before we move on? Is there anything else there that really is missing that you'd like to add?
A while ago, I don't know if it's changed now, but when we first sort of moved down here, my granddaughter, when she started school down here, there wasn't much in the line of after-school activities like, dancing, music, football, basketball.
It is growing, but it's not. It's not as fast as it probably should be in the way of like growth in the community versus growth in those sort of things are probably not. But then again, I've seen businesses like that have started those after-school activities such as ballet, but have fallen short because there's not enough parents that are willing to put their children into because it's a 45-minute drive to where they need to go.
Well, that's my point exactly. Like we wanted her to keep up her dancing that she was always in and singing and all of this sort of thing. And she had to either go like to Bateman's Bay, an hour away, straight after school. It's impossible. You just can't do it.
That's right. But then
the local.
We've had things like that in Bermagui where there has been ballet and dancing and there are not enough kids coming. So therefore those people fall short and have to quit their business because there's not enough.
Yeah, okay. Alison, perfect answer. What could have prevented that?
Supply and demand.
And a feasibility study from day one would have determined whether or not there was enough people and the demographic in the area to be able to sustain a business like that.
You know what it was? That there was enough people in the area to sustain it. There was enough children for these ballet classes because my daughter was going. You know what it was? It was the cost.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
because they're in a small town, they think they can charge high prices because there's less people, but they still need to make the money. And I totally get that. We all need to make money. But they weren't considering that these people are not always as flush with cash as what the community says they are.
Yeah. And Ashley, you found that with your feasibility study, which I'd love if you could give us a bit of a rundown on that, because that in itself was one of the things I said that you would need to investigate that more. So can you please help us out with that?
Of course. So I don't know if I've actually told everyone what the idea is, but essentially we're looking at opening an accommodation by the water, kind of a retreat for parents or couples to get away from isolation, have a new scenery, etc. When I chatted with a few different people about the idea and the sort of businesses that they're linked with, I asked people whether or not they were interested. Had a lot of interest. Pretty much 100% of people said, yep, that's something I'd really, really like. But everybody had a different like mindset on how much they would pay for a weekend away. So I found that one really interesting, because obviously you look at what accommodation by the water might be, you know, in Lure Bay or Braley or somewhere sort of south, and on Airbnb you might get somewhere nice for like $80 a night. But we had some people saying, oh, we'll pay $500 a night, whereas other people were like, oh no, that's way too much. So I think it's about finding a target market that I guess agree on how much they'd actually pay for like a high-end stay.
That's the education part of it.
That's the type of offering you're offering.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's not. It's more, I think it's going to be more of a mid-range stay, because part of the benefit of it is it's essentially it's a retreat. You know, you go away for a weekend, you relax, you experience something different, you tap into local businesses, by, you know, the actual retreat having partnerships with said businesses. But not everything is the best of the best. It's more around supporting the local businesses around you and having people be motivated by supporting with them.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was a bit vague around your feasibility study, Ashley, because I want to use it as an example.
Yeah.
Because, like I said before, we can have the best idea in the world, but if there's not people there prepared to pay for it, and that's what business is about, you know, that can create, it will wipe the business out. So really, just the purpose of the feasibility study from day one will determine whether the business will work. Okay, I'll give you another example. The actual Baylink building. Baylink. Does everybody know Baylink?
No.
Centrelink in Bateman's Bay.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Okay, I've been a business trainer for a very long time, Alison, and we were engaged, myself and another trainer, to do a training program for local people on how to work in a call centre.
Oh, yeah.
And the demographic in Bateman's Bay and the far south coast is very low socio-economic, and a lot of youth unemployment. So what they wanted to do was create that building there to provide jobs for local youth and for local people. No problem at all. We went through, between TAFE, ourselves and another training provider, I think there were 500 students go through that. Once they were all finished and they were applying for the jobs, they didn't have the social skills to be able to perform the duties. So in the end, they had to bring people from out of town anyway who knew and had the managerial and social skills to be able to do that. So after the fires, I had a conversation with a gentleman from a government agency about how they were going to help lift the region. And the first answer I got from him was, we might create a call centre. So see how this person's come into the town from outside but doesn't actually know the demographic, doesn't know the people. So your advantage when you're running your business is knowing the area, knowing the people. If you're coming in, it's your responsibility to find that out. So what's happening in the area at the moment that we can pick up on and follow and build a business around that. I think that that's something that this process here is for. Have you found this helpful? Okay, so have a look at those. We've got food delivery, we've got shoppers, so people who can do shopping for people. We've got a lot of things really that could come off that. Then we've got kids activities, food in general. So mini golf, there should be one on every corner. And healthy food options, internet and homeschooling for kids. I think that now from any technical point of view, technology in itself is going to be the crux of the success of any business now. After school activities and accommodation. So there's a lot there that is currently either missing or could be created or built. Does anybody want to add to that? Just some comments.
I found when we first come down here that giftware was a big thing. Just being able to sort of go into a shop and you know, buy presents for someone. You had to sort of go further afield to find nice things.
I agree. Yeah, and in Bateman's Bay, they actually did have a beautiful giftware shop that was there for years and years and years. It was absolutely fabulous. We used to get all of our Christmas decorations from there. Overnight, gone.
Also, I think with the virus being so prevalent and changing our lives, there's an opportunity in the cleaning and sanitizing space. Again, I don't know what sort of shape or form it takes, but I think things will be a little bit different heading forward now with the way we clean and sanitize our businesses and just our environments in general. So
Actually, that's a good point. I remember working like in a, I suppose, I don't know if it's so much around small businesses, but in working in a company environment, we used to have someone come around and actually clean the phones, clean like F-pop machines, things like that. And you know, they go from business to business. I guess it was just a matter of a little carry thing with all the special stuff in it, and it was, you know, just a small, not a large cleaning company, but a small one person that came around and did. And I guess too, it sort of shows people that in the public sector, like with retail or whatever, that there is measures being taken to make sure that everything's sort of, you know,
Yeah, look, and I think from this, if you've got a creative mindset, which I do believe most of you do, you will see little places where there's gaps, you know, and all of these places here, there are gaps. So anybody who's not sure, and I wish Alex was here with us today. She's actually not well, so she'll get this via video, but you know, people who have got maybe not so much a clear idea of their business idea, or, you know, looking at something like that and being able to brainstorm ideas with other people, I think is really important. Because like I said with the feasibility study, if we just think in our head, this is a top idea, you know, it may not be. You know, on paper, it may not be. So this is very, very important. Now, I'm going to switch to the next screen, and I'd like to pop everybody into pairs. And I'd like you to choose one of these in your pair and think about the things that you need to do to start a business. So if you're going to start a business doing one of these today, what business will it be, and how, and what do you need to keep in mind to actually get it started? So we'll put Anna and Sophie together, Stu and Alison together, and we'll go with Grace and Ashley and Bethany together. Or actually, no, I might put Bethany with Brad. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to choose something here, and just have a little chat with everyone. So you might need to talk to each other via the chat.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're with, say, Anna, if you click on the chat option and change it over to your partner's name, you'll be able to chat with each other on your ideas. Okay, if you do need to speak with each other, just unmute yourselves and talk to your partner. But at this point, everybody mute yourself so you can get started. If you have any questions for me, by all means ask them.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what I've done here or what I'm doing.
What's wrong, Grace?
Okay, because I'm with Ashley, aren't I?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so when you go into chat, it's not sort of separating into voice chat. It's typing chat. Is that right? Or
Yeah, typing chat. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. When we get really good at this technology, we'd be able to do a breakout using Messenger or Google. But until everybody gets Google, we're limited to how we can do it. But if you click on the down arrow there next to where it says everyone, and just select Ashley, that your chat will go to her.
Can you see the messages I sent to you, Grace?
Yeah, I can see, well, I can see your name up. Oh, here, 2 new messages. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, I'll turn the computer off and yeah.
Good.